Alright guys, I got a request from Rick over in Redding, California to send a bottle of my double IPA that is in here, in the keg. So, since it's in the keg, I need to bottle it. I'm going to show you guys how to bottle from the keg. Alright, so basically I believe this is 3/8 inch tubing. A couple feet of it, because that's what I cut. You don't even need a couple feet, you maybe need a foot. But if you look here, I have a Perlick faucet. What you want to do is get this tubing into the faucet, right? But of course it won't go. Okay? It won't go because it's so rigid. So what you do is run the tubing under really, really hot water. So take your water as hot as you can get it, your tubing into there, and just let the water run through it. And what this will do will make the tubing extremely pliable. Watch your hands if your water heater sets are really hot, because this is scorching. Alright. Once it's pliable, take it as quickly as you can back to your keg. Now you're at your keg, and now this is the same exact tubing. Look at that. It is pliable enough to go straight. Fuck. Hold on. Alright. I can't do that with one hand. So it's pliable enough to go straight into your faucet there. Okay? So now it's in there and you're good to go. So now you have a faucet with your 3/8 tubing. I believe it's 3/8 tubing, I'm pretty sure. Sticking straight out. Alright? Next thing you want to do is you want to get in your keg. You want to, if you have two kegs with an air manifold, you want to turn the keg off that you're not messing with, so that no changes in pressure occur. So I'm turning that off on my air manifold. I'm going over to the regulator and I'm turning the regulator down, and with the blow off the pressure relief valve on the regulator, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm gonna release the pressure relief valve. So now I got 0 psi. See that? Alright. And I'm gonna go crank up the psi to right about 4 or 5. You don't want any more than that. It's about 4 psi. Okay? And then with everything still turned off, you release any pressure in the keg that you're going to distribute, so that that keg goes to 4 or 5 psi. So now it's at 5 psi, and this is going to be, your keg's only going to be pushed at 5 psi because you released all the pressure in there. Okay, so there it is building back up, and when that gets back up to 5, you're ready to distribute the beer. Okay, now here's what you want to do. You want to get yourself a little stock pot, okay, and then get your bottle. This is a little mini tavern growler bottle, and this is the same way you would fill a growler as well. So you're going to take this bottle and you're just going to put it in your pot. That way, if anything spills, it spills into your pot, not all over your kegerator, your beautiful stainless steel kegerator. Now you take your tubing and you put it inside your growler or your bottle. Okay, as you can see, we took the tubing, went all the way to the very bottom. We want this to fill from the bottom. Alright, and then we pull the tap, the beer comes out, and it's, as you can see, it's filling from the bottom. Okay, and to me, what's it filling at? Alright, it's at 5 psi. So it's filling at the bottom. The reason we want to fill the beer from the bottom because we don't want the carbonation, or we want to avoid as much carbonation as possible coming out of solution. And then what we do is we let it foam out, just like it's doing now, until the beer runs clear, just like it did there. We shut it off, take the tubing out, okay. I'm like looking at myself instead of the tubing. Alright, and the tubing is a little thick, so we want to put a little more beer. So we'll open the tap up a little bit till it clears up, and then you want to cap on foam. Okay, so as it's foaming up, you want to cap it. And this is really hard to do with one hand, but I'm gonna go ahead and cap it right now. Hold on. All right. Okay, so as you see at the bottom here, we've got some beer spillage, and that's just the way it happens without, you know, really expensive tools. This is a really simple solution to fill your beer bottles, fill your growlers. Now, if you don't have a growler cap like this, you want to introduce that bottle cap now and cap it immediately on top of that foam, so you don't lose any foam carbonation to solution. Wipe your growler off or your bottle off and stick it in the fridge and keep it cold or ship it, whatever you need to do. One thing I will say is you want your growler or your bottle very cold. So this one actually came out of the refrigerator. It wasn't there long enough, because if it had been in the refrigerator a little longer, then you wouldn't have seen that much carbonation come out of solution. What happens when the beer comes through the beer line and it hits different temperatures is when it warms up, the carbonation runs out of the beer into the solution. That's why you saw a little bit more carbonation than I'd normally like to see. So you keep your beer bottles cold before you're going to fill them like that. That's just another tip, so you don't have to waste, you know, a good amount of beer. That's probably a couple ounces of beer in there. All right. So that's how you bottle a beer from the keg with 50 cents worth of equipment, which is this little tubing piece right here. Alright, hope you enjoyed that. Post any questions, comments, or concerns under the comments below. Goodness, this IPA smells so delicious. This is a double imperial IPA I made. It's so good. I'm going to probably have to review this IPA because it's going to be gone really soon. I made 5 gallons of it, and it's only been in the keg for about 2 weeks, and it's nearly done. So, oh crap, wrong side. Cap on foam. Bam! Yeah, I'll review this IPA on the next video. Bye-bye. Okay, and on a final note, make sure you turn your if you have dual manifolds, turn your manifolds back on, and then make sure your pressure is back up to whatever your desired serving pressure is. For me, it's 10 psi. So make sure you turn all that stuff back up, otherwise your beer's going to go flat. Alright, so that's just a final warning for you guys who are bottling from your kegs. That's it.